I was born here, and there were rhinos in this area since I can remember. I grew up with them. It wasn't long ago, during the war years. It must have been in 1981 that I last saw the rhinos. Since that time, they just seem to have disappeared.
When I came here first, there were a lot of rhino and a lot of elephants throughout most of what was then the Krugerveld, and only came back in 1982. And when I came back, there was nothing left, literally nothing. Some of the rhinos, certainly in the 70s, they were shot by helicopters, and I suppose, what could we say? The irony is that now we are bringing them back with helicopters.
I think one of the main emphasis is biological management of this population. We believe, and through a lot of science has been done, that this population is at carrying capacity, maybe exceeding it. So we're removing quite a lot of excess animals out of the engine of this area, and taking these animals to new areas, moving the historical range of black rhino, where they did occur in the northwest. The main reason why we use these animals also is because they are desert adapted. They're going to very arid environments. And then the second emphasis is on poverty alleviation. It's taking animals back to the people, allowing them to benefit directly from the animals that actually was conserved in this area through all these years. So there's a community aspect, but also a scientific aspect to the whole operation.
It takes a team of dedicated experts working in unison to perform an operation of this magnitude. From air crew to ground crew and the ever-present vet, each member plays a vital role.
We get up in the air when we first get a call from the aircraft. We found a rhino, we go in there and we go and have a look at the rhino. So the first thing we do is make a decision, is this rhino a suitable rhino that we want to take to one of our release sites? Once we've said yes, okay, it's then my job to sit behind the pilot, and we fly in there and we put a dart into the back of the rhino. That dart will, within about 3 to 4 minutes, make the rhino sleepy. It lies on the ground. We then jump out of the helicopter, and my sort of next role is to make sure the rhino's stable, everything's hunky-dory, for us to then go in and lift it.
The biggest problem facing the team is how to access rhinos in an area completely inaccessible to vehicles. And this is how they do it.
The use of large helicopters to carry rhinos underneath them, it's not a new thing. I mean, it's been done in South Africa a few times before. But I think the distances that we're moving them, the terrain over which we're moving them, the sort of the temperatures, the whole setup here is a challenge. And we actually had animals slung under a crane, just literally 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and we were monitoring them. We had a bunch of folk out from the States. We were monitoring their respiration, monitoring all their vital signs, to see to what extent we were happy and completely content that we could actually sling them upside down. And the 15 minutes that we've sort of come to as a maximum is well within, we pushed it further than that, but well within any form of real danger to the animal.
We actually are using the method where we sling them by the feet. For longer slings we use the pallet, but it's quite cumbersome. It takes a bit of time in the veld to get an animal on the sledge, and also it takes quite a few people. So therefore, for the most effective and cost-effective way, we're using the feet slinging method. And we've tried to keep all our slinging distances, so far they're all under about 10 minutes for slinging the animal. The chopper pilot is extremely happy with the method. It's very fast. We're saving on chopper hours, and it's also quite easy for him. The load is hanging very stable, which is very important for the pilot, and he can get the animal into places and out of places where with a pallet it's quite difficult sometimes.
At the processing site, various tests are performed on the rhino. While under sedation, a transmitter is inserted into the horn so that their movement and behavior can be closely monitored.
And by cutting the horn a little bit shorter, only by about sort of 3 to 4 inches, rounding it off, smoothing it off, it means it's a more blunt instrument, he gets less leverage and therefore is less likely to hurt himself. So that's the reason we're cutting the tip of the horn, to protect the rhino from actually hurting himself.
I think by recognizing the communities as full stakeholders and also making them custodians of these animals, I hope and I believe we are in a win-win situation.
You know, community lived for a long time with wildlife. They derived benefits from wildlife. But then there was a time when they had no access to wildlife. And now the government is reversing that process.
I have got a huge challenge on my shoulders because being a person from the area, every time, almost every day I receive a call for people asking me, when are you going to recognize our conservancy? We have applied for that one. When are we going to receive for this kind of animals? So people are very much happy, they are very much eager because they know that the other conservancies in their neighborhoods, people in those conservancies are benefiting a lot. Those who don't have the recognized ones, they want to do likewise in their areas.
Well, as part of our larger program with the Millennium Challenge Account, one of the pillars of that program is supporting tourism. Overall, the goal of the program is to alleviate poverty through economic growth, and tourism is the largest growing economic sector in Namibia. By working with conservancies, we feel as though we can help promote economic growth at the grassroots level, and this translocation then of the rhino will help conservancies bring in economic benefits.
Our people in rural areas must benefit from conservancies, from the creation of conservancies in their areas for the current and future generations of this country.
We believe that restocking these areas will add value to the tourism products that these conservancies offer to the tourists. Obviously, rhino tracking is a very attractive activity for tourists to come to Namibia, and once you have these animals, including black-faced impala, including other rare species, you will logically attract a different type of tourist.
As long as new conservancies are established, as long as our conservation efforts are successful, like now, because of our efforts to conserve, we are in a position to provide to the community. That is the most important thing, that we manage our wildlife in such a way that we conserve, they increase, and then we distribute.
We have up to now 9 rhinos which we monitored in the Klepropir area, and the population is increasing, and I could see that the lifestyle of the community changed.
Yeah, to have black rhinos in our conservancy is very special, and we are very happy that what is going on at Palmweg is having a great effect, so we can translocate rhinos to other areas where they have never been before, or have been there and have been poached out, but just to be there. And for Namibia as a country, it's very special.
Well, as they have tourism, they will be able to attract more tourists to come to the conservancies. As a result, of the tourists coming to the conservancies, they will provide economic benefits and it will also help the people in the area appreciate and conserve the wildlife better. So in turn, the more that they conserve it, the more tourists who will come, the more economic benefits, and the community then will prosper.
This was great. This was sort of the end, the time for me to retire, maybe, that we have virtually come full circle. We're not fully back to where we were, but in some areas we are. Puros, for example, doesn't have as many elephants now, but it's got elephants back. Putting rhinos back into parts of Cocoland where they were shot out of, that was something we probably never thought would ever happen 25 years ago, but now it is. And the surprising thing is how much the local people do want to have rhino back.
This is the first time that actually the translocation is being made by means of helicopter. I recall the time we were discussing this operation, I had a bit of misgivings, because anything can go wrong and nobody wants any accident to happen. But due to proper arrangement, due to proper preparations, it went on very smooth, and I'm 100% happy. I even actually made it a point that I come here to witness and not to be told, but to see it with my own eyes.
Communities are beginning to reap the benefits that wildlife brings them. There is tangible evidence that poverty is being alleviated and that man and wildlife really can coexist.